Welcome back to DIY DEI. I'm your host, Tawanna Streater. Today, we will be talking about work-life balance and health and wellness in the workplace. With me in the studio today is my good girlfriend, Danata Andrews, Vice President of Inquest Consulting. Welcome back, Danata.
Thank you, Tawanna. Thank you for having me.
Of course, the last episode we did together, we ended with work-life balance. So I wanted to really have a full episode where we talked about that because I think it is so important. Work-life balance in addition to health and wellness.
Yes.
And how health and wellness is becoming or is a part of organizations' DEE strategies. And I had to do a little bit of research because, I'm like, how is it a part of DEI?
Yeah.
So I had to do a little bit of research to find out where that all started. And it was really because of our experiences, people of color, our experiences and our needs are so very different than our white counterparts. And they needed to, organizations needed to approach it completely different because providing equitable healthcare, equitable resources is very different from access.
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about that, but really focus on work and life balance because, come on, as working moms, I think we finally... There are moments, but we finally found a way to navigate this work-life balance thing.
We have. We've done a good job over the last few years. We've held each other accountable to some degree. We kind of fall off with each other.
We fell off a big time last year.
Yes.
I mean, I tell people, and it's crazy, it's always crazy when I say it, to hear myself say it, but COVID really allowed me to find that work or to discover that work-life balance and that self-love. It was weird because that January before COVID, we were together. We did this whole vision board thing. We did mind health activities. And we were like, this is going to be a great year.
We sure did.
This is going to be our year. And then March happened. And actually in January, that's when you introduced me to positive affirmations. And then March happened and we were thinking that we would just be at home for 2 weeks. And I was like, as an introvert, I can do this. I'm an introvert. I don't need people. And not even 2 weeks in, I was like, I cannot do this. I literally felt like I was going crazy. So for me, I started getting out. It was March. Weather was a little decent. I just started walking every day. It went from walking to running, and then I was working out like crazy. It was the following summer where we were like, okay, we're going to do this.
Yes.
And we would every Sunday, we would do 3 to 5 miles.
We created a partnership for health and wellness. And we've continued with that throughout the years. And I want to go back to something you said. You mentioned COVID, and you were talking about when companies started incorporating health and wellness as part of DEI strategies or larger organizational strategies. And you also mentioned COVID. And I honestly believe that's where it started because there was this outcry for help for everybody who was at home around mental health and wellness. Folks were feeling it like you were like, I got to get out the house. I have to do something. A lot of people felt that way. They were feeling a lot of anxiety. People were dealing with depression, being at home. Being in these virtual spaces all the time, that became a lot. And companies started to respond to that to say, okay, what do we do? How do we help our employees get through this rough time? This is a whole change for a lot of people. And so organizations started to think about how do we support our employees. And then that May, with the death of George Floyd,
The murder.
the public execution, there was an outcry really from not just people of color.
Right.
A lot of folks, and I hate to use this word because it gets such a bad rep, but people woke up. People started to pay attention to the injustices that are happening in the world, particularly for people of color, Black people.
Right.
And so organizations did start to create these spaces where folks could talk about their lived experience, the trauma they were experiencing from watching the tape, the recording of Mr. Floyd's murder, and all the ones that preceded him and after, and continuing to this day, right? So yes, organizations started to pay more attention to that, started to put programs in place. And for a lot of organizations, those programs already existed, but I guess the awareness catapulted, in the workplace. And then on a personal note, I have to tell you, through all of that, what was going on, and me wanting to be really mindful of taking care of my head, my heart, and my mind, I was okay being at home during COVID and during that very traumatic period of time, because I wanted to have space to process what I was feeling, to deal with that in a way that felt authentic to me. And for me, that was meditation, that was prayer, that was yoga. Like I leaned into yoga like I never had before. That was, how do I nourish my body? Let me choose better foods.
Absolutely.
And it's interesting that something you haven't quite experienced, but yet you felt like you experienced the trauma of it.
Exactly. Especially when you're seeing it over and over again. I'm at the point, I don't even want to see these videos.
Oh, I don't watch them anymore.
I feel like I'm right there. I feel like it's happening to me.
Yeah.
God forbid, it's happening to my son. I have a 21-year-old who is, driving around Chicago, and I pray every day, every time he's out. I don't sleep well, and I'm still tracking him on my phone. Okay, it's 12 o'clock. Where is he? So I don't like to watch those videos for my mental space because I'm trying to keep just some type of healthy mental space so that I can function day to day, so that I don't feel like every time I see a police officer, I'm paranoid, or every time my son is out, I'm paranoid. Well, that's a given, but
I'm no expert in this area in no way, but I would say repetitive watching of those things can cause PTSD, right? And I don't want to expose myself to images that are going to hurt me. It's a reality. It's happening, right? And we don't want to ignore it and act like it's not happening. But I personally don't want to see those visuals. Those are things that create trauma, play over and over again in your mind. And I just want to connect the dots real quick about me talking about the meditation and the prayer and the food. At that time, I felt like those were things I could control, right? We can try to impact these oppressive systems, these practices that are happening, and as controversial as it sounds, with policing, and other systems that aren't always equitable, depending on what you look like, what you believe, who you love, what your skin color is, all of that. It's not the same for everybody. And so I felt like, let me take care of me. These are things I can control. I can influence and talk about those things that need to be changed. But in that moment, at that time, during COVID, during the social unrest, I was like, I got to have balance.
Exactly.
What can I control?
Exactly.
For me personally, and then what can I speak up about professionally in the workplace and then also, in the social space?
I knew working at home 100% full time that I didn't want to fall into a state of depression because I'm at home. There are so many things that I can't control going on outside.
Yeah.
Like you said, what I could control was around my health and wellness, my mental health, my physical health, making those healthy decisions. And I started to just love it. I felt like an addict.
You were working out all the time.
Honey, being at home and I don't have to drive anywhere. Let's see, I will wake up because I have a dog, so I got to walk him first thing in the morning. We'll be doing 2-3 miles in the morning. Then I would come back home. I would do a HIIT workout or a strength training workout or some step
Walking, you were doing online videos.
boxing.
Yes.
I was doing it all.
Yes.
And I loved it. I didn't feel like it was a chore.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we feel like, well, when we're starting back,
Yes.
now I feel like it's a chore, but when we're starting out, it feels like working out is a chore. But I was doing things that I really liked.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's key, doing the things that are of interest to you, that ignites that passion. I love boxing.
Mm-hmm.
It was a hard class. It was hard as hell.
I took one boxing class and I've never been back.
But I loved it. I work out with a trainer. It's that sense of accomplishment. Like, I just got my ass kicked, but I survived.
Yes.
And I love it. I haven't been boxing since because the last time I went, it kicked my ass, literally. But but those are the things that I like to do. It no longer became a chore. It became something that I got a long day. Okay, let me get up and let me, burn off this stress. And I looked forward to our Sundays, walking along, doing a little 5 miles along the lake or at the park, Forest Preserve.
Yeah.
I love those things.
Walking for me provides mental clarity,
Mm-hmm.
and
That's working out for me, period.
it's a natural way to combat depression. Working out, walking, and let's just be clear. If you are not physically well, if you are not mentally well, you're not going to show up at anybody's job doing a great, you're not going to show up the way you want to. You're not going to be as successful as you want to be. You're not going to show up as your best self. You're going to be sick. You're going to be tired. And if there is anything
Always
else
tired.
happening at your job where it feels stressful, if you're not well, that's just another layer of added stress.
Yeah. But working out relieves that stress. That's my outlet. And like you said, it provides that clarity. I'll be trying to work through some project, and I'll go work out, and I'll be at home making my coffee like, aha, I know how I can approach this. I love working out. I have my little moments because I just started back in January. Let's see, month of January. Every day felt like I was in excruciating pain. I was always sore, but it allowed me to burn off stress. It made sure that, one, I was making healthy decisions because I didn't want to waste my workouts. And two, I was just in a healthier state of mind.
Yes.
Tune in this Friday at 7 p.m. as I discuss picking up the pieces.
The immediate connection was she gave me her middle name. And so you don't necessarily give your name or even a piece of your name to something that you don't want. You don't mark something that you don't want.
It's not always you got to move exercise or do some activities, yes, we know that's important. Like they tell us all the time, 30 minutes a day,
Right.
whatever. Okay, get that. But sometimes you also have to just be still. We're in such a society where everything is fast paced. You always got to do something. You're watching TV on your phone at the same time. You're at work, or if you're working from home, oftentimes I have the TV on. It's like sometimes you just need to be still. Get away from all the noise, all the distractions, and just sit in mindfulness.
Yes.
And get yourself centered.
Yep.
That's part of being healthy and being well also.
Yeah. When I started on my health and wellness journey, I went to see a doctor, and she gave me these referrals to go see other doctors. But one of the doctors told me that in order to lose the weight or to just, have that healthy state, you have to get at least 6 hours of sleep. And I was not sleeping. So she told me about this mindfulness program that will help you like decompress, and similar to the things that you do in yoga when you're just clearing your mind and centering yourself. And then now I play like the bedtime, the sleep music.
Yes, calm music, yes.
And if I don't have that music on, I will not be able to sleep peacefully.
I'm glad you said that. Just the images that we watch before we go to sleep or as we go about our day. There's so much violence on TV. There's violence in music. And I'm not, this is not a knock on any of that because I watch that stuff too. But where's the balance?
Right.
Where's the balance?
Right.
If
we have to create that balance.
If you're being exposed to all of that all the time, you might be in a bad mood.
Yeah.
You might be grumpy. You might feel stressed out if that's your intake. What you consume is not just what you eat. It's the images that you see is what you listen to. All of that is important in really having a healthy and balanced life.
Yeah. So now I don't feel, because I'm up 3 to 4 days a week at 5 o'clock in the morning, go work out.
You do. I don't know how you do it.
With prayer, honey. With prayer and pre-workouts. But I used to, when I wasn't working out, I didn't go anywhere. This is pre-COVID. I was always in the house. I'd be Netflixing and chilling by myself and happy as a lamb. But now, because I'm working out, I'm in the office 3 days a week. I'm doing other stuff that I'm obligated to do. When I sit on that couch and I binge watch whatever I'm binging, I don't feel guilty because I've done everything that I needed to do. So that's my balance.
Love that.
That's my balance. And when I'm working out, unfortunately, I know Doris would be like, how do you do this? I'm not drinking. I don't have my little occasional glass of wine or whatever, because I literally, it's like a switch that goes off in my brain. You are making healthy choices. There's a goal I'm trying to get to, and drinking or eating tacos or French fries or everything that is wonderful about the world. I'm not doing.
I love French fries.
I love French fries. I've been craving the whole month of January. When I started, I was like, I want French fries. I want French fries and pizza. I want French fries and tacos. I want French fries. Well, I still have tacos. I've learned that balance. I can make healthy decisions and still work towards my goal. And that's what this go-round was about, making those healthy decisions, not limiting or restricting myself. I always take the stairs at work instead of the elevator, but sometimes I need the elevator. But just making healthier decisions, because I think that's what it's all about, not limiting or restrictions.
What would you want workplace cultures to do or have or to know for employees to have better work-life balance? Fortunately,
I've worked at a couple of the last 2 organizations who are doing it. They are making the programs, they are making people aware of the programs, the healthy wellness programs. They are, when I was well, not necessarily at Rush, but I think when you're doing your insurance, choosing your benefits, I think there's a moment where they have these challenges where you get so much off of your premiums if you are participating in these surveys. But just making sure that there are programs available and that the employees are aware. I think another thing that is helpful for me, create those walking clubs. I work at an aquarium. I don't have to, I would love to, walk along the lakefront.
Ooh, that would be beautiful.
I know, that would be beautiful. But we work in an aquarium. We could have a walking club, 12 o'clock. Okay, we have no meetings. Let's go ahead and do our 5 to 6 people. Let's do our walk 2-3 times around the aquarium. There was one suggestion during our department retreat, no lunchtime meetings. People have a habit
I love that one.
of scheduling meetings between 12 and 2.
Yeah.
Why?
And that's a simple change. I love that one.
That is simple. Give me the opportunity to eat my lunch, because when people are in meetings from 9 to 3 with 15-minute breaks, guess what they're eating?
Junk.
They go into that vending machine, getting some chips,
Yep.
and veggie chips are not healthy. Let's stop.
It's oil.
It's oil. It's sodium. But stop with the lunchtime meetings. Be respectful. I would prefer not to have meetings before 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, but, that's when the workday begins.
Yeah.
But just, for me, that's allowing me time to sit at my desk and process my day. Mm-hmm. That's why I prefer no early morning meetings.
This is one of the reasons I love the culture that we've created at Inquest is we set those boundaries. What works for you, what doesn't. Mm-hmm. Folks know, please do not schedule a meeting for me before 9 o'clock, if at all possible. Right. I homeschool my son. There are other things I have to do. I have that balance. I set my own schedule. Mm-hmm. Yesterday, I started my day at 8:30. I stopped at 12. I had to take care of some errands. I jumped back into work at 2 o'clock. Now I ended up working at 9 o'clock, but I was able to do what I needed to do.
But that's that flexibility that, fortunately or unfortunately, COVID created. I loved the flexibility of working from home. And I still have that to a certain extent. I mean, I still have that now. Mm-hmm. Even if I'm going into the office, there'll be moments where I'm like, okay, I'll take my morning calls from home and then I'll go into the office. But being able to go to the grocery store, being able to do laundry, not just throw them in the washer and dryer, but fold them up, starting dinner earlier than 6 o'clock. That flexibility is very helpful, especially for mothers.
Yes. Say it again.
Wives trying to get home and make their husbands dinner. But or people just wanting that balance.
Yeah.
One of the things that during one of our retreats, we had to introduce ourselves and talk about the best ways in which we work with others and how accessible we are. And I said, well, I'm accessible. I have email. I have Teams on my phone. I will shut down at 5 o'clock because I want that work-life balance. Mm-hmm. I mean, but as a person in a leadership position, if my boss calls me,
you're going to answer.
I'm going to answer.
Of course.
That's what I get paid for. Right. But at the same time, she is conscious of my boundaries and she's respectful of that. And I love that.
Yeah, that's great. Before I forget, I need to say this. Health and wellness is not, it extends, it's broad, exactly, right? Yeah. So we've talked about exercise, we've talked about meditation, we talked about prayer, affirmations. Mm-hmm. I would say also have an outlet.
Yes.
Go enjoy some music, dance,
If you like to
recreation.
Netflix and chill, do that. Don't let
Yes.
nobody, make you feel guilty because you in the house. That's the introvert in us.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that we are intentional. Like, okay, girl, I ain't seen you in a couple weeks, or I just need to vent or whatever. What's your availability for dinner or lunch?
Yeah, that balance of leave work where work is, play.
Yeah.
Play is part of balance.
Yes.
Find some time
Yes.
to
And
play,
what did I tell
have
you
some
last
fun.
night? What are you doing that cannot wait till Monday?
But I wanted to finish it because I'm one of those people, if I don't finish it the whole weekend, I'm going to think about it. So
Yeah.
let me finish it so I can play this
I
weekend.
get it. You say you ain't rushing on Monday to
That's
do
right.
nothing.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for
to
having
talk
me.
about work-life balance and the ways in which we work to have that mental clarity and that healthy lifestyle.
Yes, and thank you for being my partner in that. I appreciate you.
We all need an accountability partner.
Yes.
But summer of 2023, we are back on it.
We're back on it.
We back on it. And I invite you to join us as accountability partners as we work on our healthy lifestyles. Until then, this is DIY DEI. I am your host, Tawanna Streater.